Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are now on our 8th week, and we are down to the last topic of the second quarter, which is none other than proofs. Okay, for this particular topic, we have two objectives. Number one, to use inductive or deductive reasoning in an argument. And number two, to write a proof, direct and indirect. Okay, to start off, let us define reasoning. So I believe that it is part of human nature to defend ourselves by giving reasons. So for example, nung bata pa tayo, 'di ba, pag tinanong, "Oh, bakit ang dumi-dumi mo?" So we could say the truth by saying, for example, "Kasi po naglaro ako sa putikan." Or we could hide the truth by giving a false reason like, kasi po nadulas ako eh." Anyway, reasoning is a logical way of thinking. It is reaching a conclusion based on facts. That is why in mathematics as well as in science, we need to have valid reasons to explain why we arrived at a certain conclusion. So how about proof? Yan. Proof can be used to show that something is true or false, valid or invalid. So parang, dapat anong proof mo na totoo to? Ano bang proof mo na mali ito? 'Di ba? So either way, we need to have or we need to present proofs. Yan. So, we've been discussing different statements, 'di ba? So, remember this symbol? This is P implies Q. So in our previous example, we have if an angle is right, then it measures 90 degrees. This is an example of a conditional statement. So ayan. So ang ating conclusion dito ay it measures 90 degrees. So pag tinanong tayo, paano mo nasabing 90 degrees yan? And then we could answer, because it is a right angle. Diba? So even na pag pinagpalit natin yung position ng ating hypothesis at yung ating conclusion. So, the magiging Q implies P. If an angle measures 90 degrees, then it is a right angle. So, this is our converse statement. So, yan, even na pinagpalit natin siya ng pwesto, ganun pa rin. If we ask the same question, paano mo nasabing right angle siya? Okay, then we could reply, because it measures 90 degrees. And then we could back it up by saying, by definition, a right angle measures 90 degrees. Ayan. So, parang in-explain natin, no? Nag-reason out tayo. Paano mo nasabi? Diba? How did you arrive at the conclusion? Which is what we're going to discuss later on. Okay. So, dun sa ating learning task number 1. Okay, we were given statements. Okay, for example, all grade 8 students are 13 years old. So, ang kailangan daw natin gawin, we need to write it in different forms or formats. So, first thing we have to do is to identify the parts. So, in this statement, this is P, this is our hypothesis, and this is our Q, or our conclusion. So, pag sinabing, okay, write a statement wherein P implies Q, so we will write an if-then statement. So, write the word if, and then follow it by our P. So, if a student is in grade 8, then, sulat naman natin si Q. Then, he or she is 13 years old. Ganun lamang po. And then, pag pinasulat naman tayo ng converse statement, so it will become Q implies P. So, unahin natin si Q. Sulat si Q, if a student is 13 years old, then, sulat natin si P. Then, he or she is an 8th grader. So, as you could see, pinalitan ko kung paano siya, yung pagkakasulat niya, no? But, still, yung kanyang ipinapahayag is the same. Diba? So, we could use different phrases, different words, as long as nauunawaan at hindi nababago yung kanyang kahulugan. Okay? And for the last one, if we're going to write a biconditional statement, so we will refer to our P implies Q. But this time, papalitan natin yung if then with the phrase if and only if. So, ayan. Write P, a student is in grade 8 if and only if, lagyan naman natin yung Q, he or she is 13 years old. Okay? So, these are the statements. So, ganito lang yung ating gagawin for learning test number 1. But, if we're going to check kung true or false siya, okay, na-discuss na po to, hindi ko na masyadong i-elaborate. Na-discuss na to sa previous video. Yung first statement natin ay false. Kasi, bakit? Hindi lahat ng grade 8 students are 13 years old. So, even, you could be a grade 8 student, pero 12 years old ka pa lang, or pwedeng 14, 15, and so on. So, the first statement is false. Yung second statement, false pa din siya. Kasi naman, you could be 13 years old, pero pwedeng grade 7 ka pa lang, o pwedeng grade 9, and pwedeng grade 10. Ayan. So, kung false ang ating conditional statement at false yung ating converse statement, dapat wala tayong biconditional statement. But then again, yun nga, pinapasulat lang naman, no? So, ang task lang natin is isulat siya in the following forms. Yung P implies Q, Q implies P, and then the biconditional statement. Pero tayo ang mag-check whether it is true or it is false. Okay? So, yung tanong kanina, di ba? How do we arrive at a conclusion? So, kapag meron tayong mga given, ayan. Okay, mabawa meron tayong mga facts na hawak. Para malaman natin yung conclusion, we need to observe. Okay? We need to look for patterns. Okay? Ano ba yung common sa kanila? So, if we're going to study it closely, we will notice that the addends, o yung mga numbers na ina-add natin, they are all odd numbers. While yung ating sum, o yung mga sagot natin, all of them are even numbers. Ayan. Based on this observation, we could arrive at a conclusion. If we add two odd numbers, the sum is even. Yan. So, yan ang example on how we could write a conclusion. Okay, so we have two types of reasoning. We have the inductive and the deductive. So, i-differentiate natin silang dalawa. When we say inductive reasoning, from specific to general, and we need to look for patterns. So, mamaya i-explain natin yan further by giving examples. When we say deductive reasoning naman, it's baliktad, from general to specific, and it is usually based on previous experiences. Okay, para lalo maintindihan, let's give the examples. Sa inductive, all quizzes made I missed one word. Sorry. All quizzes made by Miss Kelly are easy. Okay, I'm sorry. There should be the word by. All quizzes made by Miss Kelly are easy. So, this is a specific observation. So, halimbawa, di ba, marami tayong teachers. We have a different teacher for math, different teacher for math, different teacher for science, different teacher for AP, different teacher for ESP, and so on. So, based on your observation, kapag si Miss Kelly ang nagbigay ng quiz, madali. Okay? That's a specific observation. Now, paano pag sinabing Miss Kelly will give an exam today? So, from that specific observation, pwede tayo mag-create ng conclusion na today's exam is easy. Kasi, si Miss Kelly ay magbibigay ng exam, kaya madali yan tiyak. Yan, yun ang example ng inductive reasoning. Pag deductive naman, ganito. All students in class A are dancers. So, this is a general observation na lahat daw ng students dun sa class A, lahat sila dancers. So, paano pag sinabing Jill belongs to class A? Then, we could say that Jill is also a dancer kasi Jill belongs to class A. Diba? Yun naman ang deductive. From a general fact, yan, we could derive, or we could get a conclusion. Yan. So, focus muna tayo sa deductive reasoning. Meron kasi tayong tinatawag na law of detachment. When we say law of detachment, if P implies Q is a true conditional statement and P is true, then Q is true. Okay, for example, if it is Monday, then Steve will go to school early. This is a conditional statement. Okay? So, pag sinabing today is Monday, therefore, Steve will go to school early. Okay? Kasi, if we're going to check, the first statement is true. Okay? We are simply stating a fact that tuwing Monday, si Steve maagang napasok. So, wala nang counter-example dyan that will prove that this is false. And then, yung ating P, which is it is Monday, kapag napatunayan natin na it is true, nag-check tayo sa calendar na, yes, it is indeed Monday, okay, then we could arrive at the conclusion na yung Q ay totoo. So, therefore, Steve will go to school early. Yan. So, how about another law under deductive reasoning? We have the law of syllogism. Okay, this law states that if P implies Q and Q implies R are true conditional statements, then P implies R is true. Diba? Para lang siyang train. Diba? Dugtong-dugtong. P implies Q daw. Tapos yung Q, which is our conclusion, pag naging siya yung hypothesis Q implies R, then pwede nating i-connect yung P and R. P implies R. For example, if you eat vegetables, then you will become healthy. Okay? And then, pag yung ating conclusion, ayun, ginamit natin. If you are healthy, magkakaroon tayo ng bagong conclusion. Then, you will rarely get sick. Okay? Ayan, dahil magkaduktong siya, ngayon pwede natin idugtong yung P, okay, yung ating original hypothesis, at idugtong natin siya dun sa ating new conclusion. So, if you eat vegetables, then you will rarely get sick. Yan. This is our P. Yan. This is our Q. Yung Q, naging hypothesis. Nagkaroon tayo ng new conclusion na R. Then, pwede natin ngayon ipag-connect yung P and then yung R. Okay? So, all of these statements are true. Yan. Yan. So, this is an example, of law of syllogism. Yan. So, that's it. Thank you for listening. I hope we will be well guided to answer the tasks. This will be particularly helpful for answering learning tasks 1 and 2. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to PM or ask your grade 8 math teachers. And if you want to review this lesson, you could rewatch the video on our YouTube channel, of course, the Cartesians CNHS Grade 8 Math Teachers channel. Again, thank you everyone. Bye-bye.